Okay, it's Daisy time.
Okay.
How fun is that?
Okay, I'm going to let you. I'm going to put you on speaker.
So the family's going to be here and friends in just a minute, and so the gig will be up on who's getting the Daisy. Drum roll.
I have the person on the phone, on speaker.
Okay, you have them? Okay.
Lisa.
Yeah. Come on up here. Mindy,
Oh my
you want to
God.
join me? Come here, Mindy.
Come on in.
Oh, Julie, you better get some cleaning.
Oh, I got that.
got 'em.
I got that taken care of.
No, I have Kleenex for me.
This usually doesn't happen until I tell the story.
Just really quick, this is my stepmom, and she's been she was my mom. She isn't my stepmom, she's my mom. And I don't get to see her very often. So the fact that she is here, that it is,
Yeah. Makes it
I wouldn't
really
miss this
special.
for the world, sweetie.
oh my God.
You know, Aaron wanted to be so bad.
You know, you were my mom.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, okay.
Mindy, come stand here by me.
And Mindy never cries, so this
That's
did
all right.
not happen. All right.
Yeah. This is awesome. The family's right here. I feel like we're just kind of going to
Yes,
do this
and-
group thing, and you guys join in if you'd like. Yeah.
and these people are all my family.
Yeah, absolutely. Very special. Well, let me tell you a little bit about the Daisy Award for those that aren't familiar with it, and maybe you guys are probably the most not familiar. 4E staff have heard it a few times. But the Daisy Award was an award that was started in the year 1999 by the family of Patrick Barnes. Patrick was a 33-year-old husband, new father, who was admitted into the hospital with complications of an autoimmune disease, ITP, idiopathic thrombocytic purpura. And after 8 weeks of all the treatments they could possibly do, Patrick passed away, sadly. And the family tell the story, they lived in the Seattle area, that when they got home, as sad as they were about Patrick's death, they say that the one thing that they felt honored to see during that 8 weeks was to understand a little bit more about what nurses do every day. And they expected the nurses to be competent and smart and skilled and all the things that nurses are. But what touched their heart and put awe in them is how compassionate and caring they were with Patrick during those 8 weeks and with them, by a touch, by kind words, by all the things they did to show compassion. And so they decided, they tell the story that over a liquid dinner one night, they wanted to come up with an award to honor nurses. They came up with the Daisy Award, Diseases Attacking the Immune System. They thought it would be a local award. It's now in every state across the United States, 20 different countries. We give one a month, and this month, Mindy, it is all yours. Now, does someone want to read, or would you like me to read?
You can read. That's
Okay.
fine.
Let me read the letter. And I do believe we have...
She's on the phone.
I believe, yeah. We've got the person who wrote the letter on the phone, which is very cool as well. Can you hear us?
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay, awesome. You know that, boys? So she tells the story. Your patient. I would like to thank my nurse and share my story of why this nurse is so special. I was admitted to the hospital for pneumonia, and it was going on almost a week of being there. At 27 years old, I was struggling with being in a hospital and not seeing my children for almost a week. The night that I first had Mindy was one of my hardest days. My pain was out of control, my spirits were down with my prognosis, and worst of all, I was a mess of tears because I just wanted to go home and see my kids. Within an hour of being on her shift, Mindy made time to listen to me vent and cry. I could tell through her words and facial expressions that she genuinely cared about what I was going through. However, I knew that the nurse that I had was special when she walked into my room later and could tell that I had been crying, and she asked if I needed a hug. Now, I don't know if Mindy hugs all of her patients that are sad, but I do know that that hug meant the world to me in that moment. It was the most comforting, warm, and needed hug. The nights that I had Mindy while in the hospital, she was always ensuring that I was comfortable. She never made me feel like a burden when I asked for something special. And when she spoke to me, it was always kind and never made me meaningful. She was always asking, "What can I do for you?" I have been a nurse for 4.5 years, and I know that Mindy has not been a nurse for very long. I understand 6 months?
I got my nursing license on April Fool's Day of this year.
Well, there you go. I don't think it was a joke. But I feel like having her as my nurse reminded me how, as a nurse, we have to be compassionate and empathetic, traits that I think are easily lost in the hustle and bustle of work. I can't think of anyone more deserving of the Daisy Award than Mindy Baker. And this was... Would you like to say anything else?
Basically, just Mindy, having you as my nurse that night, it completely changed my entire hospital stay, which up to that point had been really hard. And it was just comforting to know that I had someone that really cared and wanted to make sure that I was comfortable. And so thank you so much for that.
Well, you're so welcome. I am glad I made a difference. I really am.
I'm glad you can be here on the phone. I wish you could be here in person. This is very meaningful for Mindy. This is awesome. Okay, well, Daisy comes with prizes. So
Yay, prizes!
Yay, prizes. It starts with a Daisy bag. We all like bags, right?
Yeah.
And you'll have a banner up for a month with your name on it. Here's the Daisy story, which take time to read when you have a minute. It's very special. They partner with Kleenex because there's usually never dry in the house, so there you go. I need that. Daisy pin, which you should wear proudly because you're a member of a club now of about 120,000 nurses. And there's a portfolio in here with your name on it, with the Daisy Award signed by the Barnes family and myself.
Thank you.
You're very welcome. And then there are cinnamon rolls, and let me tell you the story about cinnamon. So Patrick, when he could still eat, his dad one day came to see him, and Dad had brought one of those big ooey gooey Cinnabon rolls that you get at the mall. Dad fully intended to eat it himself. Patrick said, "Gosh, that looks good. I think I'll have a bite." And proceeded to eat the whole thing and asked Dad to bring up Cinnabons for him and the nurses every day thereafter. So we don't have Cinnabons, but we have the next best thing, Hy-Vee. And what the Barnes family wants nurses to think about every time you taste cinnamon, bake with cinnamon, smell cinnamon, is to think about how special you are and what you do is so special. Because they say they haven't met a nurse yet who doesn't say, "I'm just doing my job," and they want you to know how very special your job is and how meaningful it is. So every time you smell cinnamon, think of that. And then I think the best gift of all is a statue called the Healer's Touch. And this statue is handmade by artists in Zimbabwe, and yours has signed it. And
awesome.
Daisy partners with these artists to make these in this very impoverished nation. And they are so honored to make it for the nurses, and they are also honored because in their nation, healers are very important. So it has a special meaning to them to be able to make this for you. And so that is what we have for you today. What would you like to say?
I made a career change at 50, and this was probably the best decision I've ever made in my life. So I love working on the 40s team. There's everything I've done here I couldn't have done without the team here. I say it every time I work. I look forward to coming to work because of the team I work with. I couldn't do it without the aides. I couldn't do it without the LPNs. I couldn't do it without the other RNs. I'm a new RN, so I really couldn't do it without the team. So, thank you. But I really have to thank the team that makes it possible for me to do what I'm doing and enjoy it. So,
Very good. And that's why we bring lots of cinnamon rolls for the whole team.
Yeah.
Not just one. Yeah.
yeah, I
All
couldn't
right.
have. Yeah, this isn't mine, it's everybody's, because I couldn't do it without them, because I still don't feel like I know what I'm doing, so it's everybody else making it possible for me to take care of the patients the way I like to take care of them, so.
You love your skills. It looks like you got the compassion part down. So thank you very much.
Yeah,
for what
thank
do,
you.
and thank you for this.